The British ambassador to the U.S. has launched an official complaint over the arrest of an independent journalist covering protests in Seattle. Journalist Andrew Buncombe was shackled, assaulted and detained for more than 6 hours after being accused of failing to disperse in Seattle.
Here's a summary of the article.
The British ambassador to the U.S. has launched an official complaint over the arrest of an independent journalist covering protests in Seattle. Karen Pierce's protest was registered with senior levels of the State Department, and the White House was informed, following the arrest of the Independent's chief U.S. correspondent. The journalist wrote that he was arrested 5 minutes after arriving at Cal Anderson Park by an officer who told him to stop taking photographs and leave. The arrest sparked international condemnation, amid concern over police action against more than 60 other journalists covering George Floyd protests in the U.S. and Donald Trump's anti-media rhetoric. A member of Seattle City Council has written to Mayor Jenny Durkan and Police Chief Carmen Best demanding action on Mr. Buncombe's unacceptable treatment. Amnesty International USA said Mr. Buncombe was one of at least 60 journalists arrested while covering protests sparked by the killing of George Floyd in May. The media have a right to attend and report on these protests, and law enforcement officials have a responsibility not to prevent or obstruct their work, said Deputy Director of Research Justin Mazzola. It is imperative that democratic leaders everywhere stand up unequivocally for truly independent journalism. The arrest and appalling treatment of Andrew Buncombe must be condemned.
This post received a score of 31,000, with an upvote ratio of 94%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
I like what Seattle City Councilor Lisa Herbold said, the Constitution and municipal code protections for the press, and observers, do not exist for the convenience of government, to be cast aside whenever they happen to be inconvenient.
She supports defunding the police, prosecuting those responsible and removing recognition from their union then?
I believe she is one of the 7 council members that has committed to reducing Seattle PD's budget by 50%. I haven't heard her talk about the other issues. Regarding prosecution, I could be wrong, but I think in WA state it's very difficult to prosecute police officers. I remember a Seattle officer named Ian Burke murdered an older Native American man as he was crossing the street while whittling a piece of wood with a pocket knife. The man was shot in the back side. It was clearly an unjustified shooting.
What? The land of the free. Whoever told you that is your enemy?
It's been 28 years since that album was released. It's both amazing yet so unfortunate how timeless it has been.
Anything is timeless when nothing changes.
Damn, that's deep. Getting a taste of freedom and democracy.
Drowning in winning over here. Eat your heart out, rest of the world. Trump was right. I am tired of it.
I'm waiting patiently till November to let him know.
That's why he's doing his damnedest to make sure you don't make it, you know.
Anarchy in the USA, like Bruce Springsteen covering the Sex Pistols. Megadeth did that one.
So did Green Jello.
Till Green Jelly and Green Jello are the same band.
Once they started blowing up from Little Pig's Jello said hell no.
Yet an American diplomat's wife can kill a boy with a vehicle and they are allowed to flee the country. I know. 2 very different situations, but more and more, the world is seeing America for the lawless, crazy bully that it really always has been.
That's where my head immediately went as well.
Honest question, do journalists still have to comply with orders to disperse from the police? Are they allowed to just ignore those because they have a press badge? Either way, horrible optics.
From the article.
Weren't there a lot of journalists in the same situation over the past month? I seem to recall a lot of journalists being roughed up by SPD in the recent past. I hope they all get their days in court.
Yay, there's a video of an Australian reporter and cameraman hiding behind a wall and crammed into a corner reporting on the riots. A full squad of riot police in full gear come walking by and one cop punches the reporter in the face. It made worldwide news a few weeks ago.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.